Today I'm giving you the 16 reasons why people become entrepreneurs. And right here we have a list of human traits and skills that you have to be able to become an entrepreneur. And for all of you that are starting, have just started, it's very, very important to realize which of these that you have so you can play to your strength and also play to your weaknesses. And I'm going to go through every single one in this long format. You can skip and jump between every section. If you're more interested in some of these, I'll always move my cursor over like this so you can watch them all. And I'm actually recording this after I made the video and I really enjoyed it. And I think you can learn a lot from me talking about all these traits. But before that, if you like videos about making money online business and entrepreneurship, subscribe to this channel and tick the notification bell to get notified when I release a new video. Also, if you want a free course where I teach you step by step the best way to make money online for beginners, you can get that free course down in the description. Now let's get into the video. This is going to be a long video and I'm just going to talk openly about what skills I have, as well as some stories in other fields as well. So I can't have a boss, and this is something I have as well. I have had a couple of good bosses that I really didn't hate at all, but I can't keep a job, mainly because I don't really take it easy of people bossing me around. I really hate people bossing me around, but I can give you an example of why I can't have a boss. Well, I've had 4 jobs in my life. The first one was a summer job that I had 6 years in a row, which was just painting, scraping things, walking around with a broom and some small gardening stuff. And it was a job that was very manual labor, and I was like 14, 15, 16, so I didn't really care. I just wanted the money. But when I became 18, I got a job at a pizza restaurant, and I became a pizza waiter as well as a pizza delivery boy. I was delivering pizza, and then I came back and then I did some dishes and stuff like that. But I hated my boss so much. It was like whenever he was at work at the same time as me, I tensed up and I said, okay, don't fuck up, don't fuck up, don't fuck up. He's going to scream at you. And whatever I did, even if I was good or bad, it didn't matter. He was always so mad. And everyone felt this. Whenever he came into the restaurant, we all tensed up and we're all like, okay, we gotta do this great. Because he had a mindset of, when I go in, I'm going to be mad. I'm not gonna have everyone's interest in mind. It was more like, I'm going to go in, I'm gonna fuck them all in the ass, and they're gonna love it. That was his mindset. But also, when we had these work parties, he was a good guy. He was a nice guy, and he was he had very many interesting things to say. And this was before I started the business. And one of the main catalysts, by the way, for me starting that business, because I know I don't want to work under anyone. I don't want to work on anyone's business to grow their business. I want to grow my own. I want to invest in myself. I want to invest my time in myself, because time is the most limited resource we have. So that was a big catalyst when I found that out, that I want to invest in myself instead of growing someone else's business. Then I went into sales. I had a really great boss over there that was very helpful and taught me a lot about selling on the phone and door to door. I was actually a door to door salesman for about 3 months, and I absolutely killed it. I loved it, actually. And then I went onto the phones, which was terrible. I hate phone sales, but I learned so much from it. Now that was probably a lot for just one. Easily bored. I'm not easily bored. I always have things on my mind all the time that I think about, and I'm not really bored a lot, mainly because I'm too creative. I always think of these ideas in my head about, okay, I'm gonna do a cool intro for one of my videos. Or when I was little, I used to draw a lot, and I actually went to school for digital art and architecture, but it's completely different. It was kind of in high school. In Norway, we have all these sorts of specialty things that we can do. So everyone goes to different high schools, dependent on what they want to be in the future. And I really like to draw. I really like to be on the graphical side of things. So I went in there. Also, I've been playing music for a long time. I've been in a band. I've done concerts. And I played drums in that band, but I also made the guitars for the songs because I love guitar as well. Haven't really done it that much lately. I kind of have no motivation for practicing guitar because, and this is a thing about motivation as well. If you have something to get motivated by, it's easier to do it. So what does that mean? When I was playing guitar, I was always playing the songs that we wanted to play on our band practices. So we say, hey, we're going to learn this song to Saturday, and on Saturday we're going to go into this practice room and then we're going to play that song. And every single week we tried new songs and new ideas and stuff like that. And it was so helpful, and it was probably the time that I learned most. Mainly because you have a band and people are dependent on you. If you go to practice and you're like, oh, I didn't learn it, everyone's gonna be like, what the fuck, dude? Learn the fucking song. And that was probably the most motivating thing for me. Also, I joined another band that was way above my skill level, and that's where I learned so much. Like trying to do the same thing. Hey, we're gonna learn this song on Saturday and we're gonna play it on Saturday. With extremely hard songs, you end up sitting there on your room like ding 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 ding, oh fuck, and you always improve and strive to become the greatest until that band practice. So if you have some of that motivation in your life, it's incredibly powerful. But we're talking about being creative right now. I also do some music production, like EDM things. I can play a song right now in the background. I think it's really cool. Haffy on SoundCloud. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check it out. It's not too great, but I'm trying to become better. All right, let's move on. Too impatient. I am a little bit impatient, but I'm not too impatient. But I can definitely see how an impatient guy becomes an entrepreneur, because usually you want to get to the top as fast as you can. So say you're a pizza boy and you want to become a manager of, let's say, Domino's. So you start at the bottom and you're like, okay, I'm here now. What can I do to improve myself? How can I get to the top? And you're like, I'm stuck here forever. Or you might become a manager of that Domino's restaurant, but that's not enough. You want to become higher, and then you're like, oh, I'm stopping here. It has taken me 2-3 years to become a manager of Domino's. 3 years. What's gonna happen the next 20 years? I need to rank up higher and higher and higher, and too impatient is a very good skill to have. And it can light a fire under your ass, so that's good. But I'm a little bit impatient kind of with YouTube, and I want things to happen fast on YouTube. But YouTube is a long game. If you publish videos every single day and you're getting 30 views, 40 views, and you're like, this is not worth it, but you gotta stick to it. And that's where the patient win over the impatient. In this social media life, in this internet lifestyle thing, you have to be patient. But they're talking about entrepreneurs, like real business owners. Like, for example, Elon Musk is probably really impatient. Criminal streak, I can't really understand why a criminal streak is something that's good. But they also worded it like with a criminal streak, so too impatient with a criminal streak, so you have both of these skills. But I also read that sociopaths and psychopath, people that has a psychopathic trait or psychopathic traits, there are actually many traits, do it better in business. And I was watching this documentary about millionaires and psychopaths, and being a psychopath, just the word for it, it's not too bad. About 11 out of 100 people are psychopaths. So it's a lot of people that are psychopaths and have these psychopathic traits, which aren't bad at all. But if you have the extreme version of these psychopathic traits where you're really manipulative and you do stuff, let me just Google psychopathic traits right here. Well, as you can see, there are so many psychopathic traits like glib and superficial charm, the tendency to be smooth, engaging, charming, slick, and verbally facile. Psychopathic charm is not in the least shy, self-conscious, or afraid to say anything. Grandiose self-worth, need for stimulation, or proneness to boredom. Pathological lying, conning, and manipulativeness. You can read this if you want to. But as you can see, there are so many traits for psychopaths, and I think mostly criminals has a psychopathic trait. If you see the psychopaths in prison, it's a much higher percent of them being in prison than normal people. But that doesn't mean that all psychopaths are bad. They have psychopathic traits, but they're not bad. Like you can, for example, have lack of remorse or guilt, lack of feeling or concern for losses, pain, and suffering of victims. This is something you can have, and you can, all these other things that you have to do, and to psychoanalyze a guy that is a psychopath is usually very hard, because you have to rank every trait from 1 to 10 and find out, okay, which degree of psychopath, how much of a psychopath is this person. But anyway, let's go back to the why people become an entrepreneur. Not too educated. And I find myself here, I'm not very educated. Usually the things that I learn is from the internet, is from books and online, YouTube, blog posts, courses, and stuff like that. So a different kind of education. I went 1 year to college, found that it was shit, and then I'm not doing it anymore. You can also be too educated, and this is where you can pair your entrepreneurial skills with your education and do something great. Like, for example, if you know a lot about rockets, you can build a rocket and make a rocket business. Has nothing to lose. So this is where I find myself as well. I'm a young guy, I'm 23, and I have virtually nothing to lose. I live in Norway, which means if I go, there's not a possibility of being homeless here. The only possibility of being homeless in Norway is if you're doing drugs, and even those get houses. So I don't have anything to lose. If all my businesses go down today, I would probably end up in my mom and dad's place, where I would start a new business from scratch, because I feel like I have the skills now to build a business fairly easily. In maybe a few months, I could get back up to a comfortable living once again. I have nothing to lose. But this might not be the case for you. Like, if you're 35, you have a kid, you have a wife, you have a job, and you feel like you're in this middle space of, hey, I want to quit my job, I want to work at this full time, I want to have an income online. And there are so many things that's saying no, I need to provide for my family and stuff like that. But there's also some of these skills or traits that's saying to you, man, you got to get out of this job. You can't have a boss. You can't keep a job, and all the sorts of things. But I imagine that it would be terrible if I had a kid, a job, a wife. It would be so much harder for me to start this business. So if you're young and you don't have any responsibilities, just go really hard at it. If you go for a year of trying to make a business and it doesn't work out, you have learned so many things. You've taken risks. You've learned so many things about yourself. You've failed thousands of times. I've failed thousands of times. There's so many things that's gone wrong in my business, and I've learned so many things from those failures. And I think that that has an enormous impact on your life, that you're able to take those failures, learn from those failures, and then move on. Making a business is all about problem solving and fixing other people's problems, fixing your own problems. How I'm going to do this, how I'm going to do that. You're going to fail all the time, but that's how it goes. And that's good. The next one is resourceful, and this can be in many ways. If you have money, it's way easier to start a business, mainly because you can get better education. So for example, I said right here that I'm not too educated, and I mean that in an academic way. So school, but I've been buying coaching programs as well as mentorships programs and courses, video courses and information products. I've been buying a lot of things to help me grow my business and find like, okay, I have this problem. Which course can I buy that will give me a great advantage over other people? If you're in this online business thing, and you find a video course that piques your interest, you think, okay, I can learn a lot from this course, just buy it. Don't be afraid to use money. You have to be able to give up your money for two reasons. First of all, you're not gonna learn everything from free courses. You're not gonna learn everything from free courses. If you're making $1 million or $1 billion, no one is going to give you that information for free. If you have a step-by-step program, no one is going to give that for free. You got to open your wallet and pay for that course. Secondly, if you buy a course, it leaves you with this feeling, oh shit, I just spent $2,000 on this course. Now I really have to take action on this course and do what this course tells you to do. There are countless of examples of entrepreneurs giving away their information products to, like for example, one of my friends said, oh, I'm loving what you do online. What are you doing? And how do you make money and stuff like that? And then I was like, okay, I'm just going to give you my free course, which I have like 16 videos about just plain and simple what I do. You can check it out in the description. And then 1 week later, I was checking back up on him, and he like, okay, I checked out two videos of the 16 video course. And this happens so many times. If it's free, it means that it's shit psychologically for you. So I know that most of you won't go through the 16-step course that I give away for free because it doesn't mean anything to you, because you haven't put any money into it. And that means that you have nothing to lose. If you put $1,000 or $2,000 down on a product, you're for sure going to do something. And it's so important to do that. If you pay for something, you're much more inclined to do something. I think I've said that maybe 10 times right now, but I hope you get what I mean. The first step that I took to becoming successful was buying a course, then buying the upsell, which was like $200. I was like, God damn, $200? I'm gonna spend that on a course? Yes, that's what made me think, oh my God, I'm not gonna waste $200 on this course. All right, we're gonna move past right now. I think this video is very long, but who cares? I hope you're having a good time. I hope you're loving this. If you're at this point in the video, leave a comment down below. I want to know who you guys are. I can't keep a job. So this goes back to I can't have a boss. I can't work for anybody, especially when it's work that I don't enjoy. So like, for example, I work with someone right now, a client that I have. I'm a social media manager for one client, and it means that I have to satisfy his needs. So if he says, do this, I have to do it. But I enjoy doing it, so it's quite different from a job that I hate. But maybe for you, you can't keep a job in different ways. I can't really think of many things that maybe you're just bad at doing work, bad at the skills that you need to have that job. I don't really know. I just can't keep a job because I hate having a job, which I've said. Can sell ice to Eskimos. So this is one of the most important skills to have if you want to become an entrepreneur. Sell ice to Eskimos. You need to be able to learn how to sell. If you learn how to sell, you learn why people buy. And when you learn why people buy, you can give it to them in a much better way than you would if you didn't know how to sell. I hope that makes sense. For example, Gary Halbert, one of the best copywriters, he was one of the greatest when it comes to direct response marketing, which is basically sending a letter to someone's house that's never ever heard about him and making them give you money. He wrote one letter, one piece of paper that was accountable for making an $80 million business. One single letter made him $80 million. That's insane. One of the examples I really love is that he was on stage and doing this talk, and he said, if we were competing restaurants, what benefits would you have that would increase your sales? He said this on stage, and people were like raising their hands and saying, oh, I would have the best entertainment system in my restaurant. I would have the best food, the best made ingredients, and I would have this location right on Times Square and stuff like that. And everyone like, okay. And he said, you can have all those, but I'm just gonna have one thing: starving crowd. You can think of so many ways to improve your business and make it better and make it prettier and make it more integrated and stuff like that. But if you don't have a starving crowd for your business, it's never gonna work. You need to find that starving crowd first and then sell them a product that they want. And he said that one of the best things about Gary Halbert is he said you have to become a student of markets. So you want to find a market, you want to find what they need, and then you're going to give it to them. Exactly like the starving crowd. Selling is mostly getting down to, okay, what does my target audience or what does my market need right now? What are the problems that my market has right now? And how can I sell it to them? But I'm not going to talk too much about selling because that will be 2 days of me japping on about all sorts of things. Once freedom above all. This is a huge point for me. Once freedom above all. The reason, one of the catalysts that started it, I also said that I can't have a boss. I've had shitty experiences with bosses before, or especially one of my bosses, and I can't keep a job because I don't enjoy it. There's nothing fulfilling for me being in a job. Okay, granted, if I had a director's position of movies and stuff like that, which I'm very interested in, but I can't keep a normal job that I'm qualified to get. And also the other catalyst for me was that I was backpacking in Thailand, in Vietnam, in so many places down in Southeast Asia. And that's kind of one of the things. So I was traveling for 4 months. I learned how to surf in Thailand. I bought my own motorcycle in Vietnam. I met so many incredible people that I would never have the opportunity to meet otherwise. And I've been on the craziest parties. But when I got home and I didn't have any freedom, and I was sitting in my room and thinking, all I want is to be able to be free and travel whenever I want, do whatever I want, whenever I want, and be free. And actually, this is in 2015, about the summer of 2015, where I was searching, how do I make money online? It was a combination of both. I want the freedom I had when I traveled, because I didn't have a plan. I didn't want to go anywhere. I just wanted to stay in one location and then talk to a lot of people in the hostels, have a good time. Whenever I'm done with that place, I'm just gonna we'll see. I want to go here. Okay, then I'm gonna go there. The power of I want freedom as well as I don't want to work was the biggest catalyst for me. Don't want to work. I want the freedom to go back and travel and do this full time because I've already tasted the freedom that I could have. So that's what started it for me. And if you can identify some of those things in your own business and yourself, it's going to be very powerful. Like, for example, a lot of people have been through School of Hard Knocks where they probably lost their job. They have nothing left. They're living on their couch, like Tai Lopez says, living on their couch with a penny in his pocket or something like that, where you're so deep down and you have no other choice to be but to be an entrepreneur. And this is a catalyst that we see a lot of people have when they're down in the dust with their face down in the dirt. That's when they are desperate and want to become entrepreneurs and make money online. Usually the people that doesn't have any of those things, they're comfortable living the way they do right now. They're not too happy about their life, but they're comfortable and they don't want to do anything about it. I remember one story. I don't know if I can tell it perfectly, but I'll try. So one guy that was living next to the house with a dog, he was going to sleep and he heard this dog barking and being like crying or whatever dogs do. And he was like, oh my God, I need to sleep. I can't have this dog barking. But he kept to it. He slept, he woke up, and the next night, exactly the same dog was barking, he was crying and so forth. So the next morning, he went over to the dog and he saw that the dog was sitting on a nail and it didn't hurt enough to do something about it. He was unhappy, but he didn't do anything about it because the pain was not great enough. And this happens in our life as well. If you don't have the catalyst to become an entrepreneur and you're not down in the dirt, you have a family, you have a kid, you have a job, and the pain is not great enough. There's nothing that you have to do to be able to live a better life. You have to take the power from you have to manifest the power yourself to say, fuck it, I don't like this life that I'm living right now. I'm comfortable, yes, but I'm not happy. I want to make something happen. I want to be a better self. I want to do something that's better than what I'm doing right now. I have so many ambitions of things that I really want to do, and I'm not going to let anything stop me. But that's very hard. That's very hard for people to say that are comfortable because you don't have anyone that's pushing you to do that. You're comfortable. So I hope you get that point. I hope you get the point that if you want to start your own online business, you have to get to the point where you say, fuck this life. I'm going to make a better life for myself. And that mainly comes down to why. And you've probably heard this before. Find your why. Why are you doing things? Both negative motivation and positive motivation. So you can say, okay, I don't want to live this life anymore. I don't have enough money to be satisfied with how my life is right now. All these negative motivations that you can run away from, and also the positive motivations like, okay, I can have a really nice car, I can have a really nice house, I can feel more fulfilled with my work, which is something that I strive for. I want to be happy with doing work, and I want to be happy going to work every day and working on my business, but also having the ability to go on vacation wherever I want, whenever I want, and have the freedom to do whatever I want. That's what I want. That's my number one why. But also my number one negative why is I don't want a job. I really, really don't want a job. Don't want a job. I want to work on myself, and that's my negative motivation. I can't have a job. I want to stay here. And if I see my analytics on YouTube go down, if I see my money not coming in, I'm getting nervous. I'm getting down. I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm going to work so hard that my eyes are sweating because I don't want to live any other lifestyle that I'm doing right now. So that's my positive and my negative motivation. But it's so important for you to identify your own positive and negative motivation, because usually people like, oh, I want a nice car. But is that motivation enough? I don't think so. You have to have a more fulfilling why, of why you really want to make this business. And all right, next one. All right, next, too ambitious. I don't like that they're saying too ambitious. I feel like this is sort of like humble bragging. Like, I can sell ice to Eskimos. Haha, I'm too ambitious. I'm just too ambitious. No, anyway, I'm very, very ambitious with what I do. My plan for my life is already written, and what I want to do is incredibly huge. And I'm so young, and what I want to do is build this huge media empire of people, creative people working for me, and me being able to go to work every day and see my friends and people that are amazing, have this media company, media and entertainment company that's going to be very huge. And for you guys, if you're starting out or if you're just starting out, think bigger than you think right now. Think way, way, way bigger than you think right now. Maybe you think, oh, I'm gonna make $10 a day. If I can make $10 a day, that's gonna be great. Don't think that way. Think, if you're with a personal trainer, and this is actually a study, if he says that you should do 30 push-ups and you know that you can only do 20, you're going to keep pushing yourself to the limit and further than you would if you said, okay, I'm going to do 10 push-ups, or you're going to do 20 push-ups, because you think you can do 20 push-ups, but you can do so much more. So setting a goal that's bigger than what you actually have or are capable of doing is incredibly powerful. This is what Elon Musk does a lot of. He's like, okay, I'm gonna build a rocket ship with time warp and lightning speed and stuff like that, but then he just builds a Falcon Heavy and it's like, okay, I didn't really have the time warp and stuff, but I made a fucking awesome rocket. I hope you get that. Addicted to risk. So this is something I want to talk to you about. For those that are very not risky people, it's going to be a tough battle to overcome those limitations of not being a risky human being, because there's so much risk in entrepreneurship, and you have to be risky to basically get anything going. Like, the first thing you do when you start an online business is say, oh, I'm going to take on some risk now. So for anyone that's not very risky, it's important to note that and say to yourself, I'm not very risky, but I have to become greater at it. I have to take some risk, and there's so much risk. And this comes back to when I said, where was it? Has nothing to lose. So if you have a family, you have a job, and you have someone that you have to take care of, it's obviously more risky for you guys, but also you have time. I don't like the guy that's saying, oh, I have a job, I have a wife, I don't want to take the risk, because you have so much time on your hands. When you go home from work, I know you're tired, but do the work. At least start and try to make that online business with the time that you have. But let's take it back to addicted to risk. I'm a risky guy. I love taking high risk things. However, I don't feel like I'm addicted to taking risk. So I don't feel like this really mirrors what I am. However, I don't really care that much about risk. I think more of, okay, if I do this, what am I going to benefit from it? And then I think, okay, well, the risk is there, but I don't really want risk to be a part of the equation, because if risk is stopping me, Well, that's just like the dumbest thing. But however, if it's financial risk where you're taking up a loan to start maybe a restaurant, which I never encourage anyone to do. I much rather would have you open an online business because there's not so much risk. Maybe the price of starting an online business like $100, $200, and then you pay $2,000 for courses. That's how I look at it, because you only need an autoresponder, website, and a YouTube channel to make an online business. It's really simple. So if you're thinking about opening a restaurant, take that risk into consideration, but there's nothing too risky in online business to not go for it. Maybe you risk losing some time with your kids. You lose that for about 4 months until you can make your online business work. And then you got all the freedom in the world. I've been through School of Hard Knocks. I talked a lot about this. And once again, it's when people are down, when people are with their head down in the dirt, breathing through a straw, is when people say, fuck this life. I'm going to do my own shit. I'm going to build this business and say, yes, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do with my life. And I want to preface this once more. You have to find a catalyst. I've said catalyst so many times in this video, but however, you need to find something that motivates you to do that shit. Because if you're comfortable, you're not going to do anything. You're just going to stay there and be fucking comfortable and have a shitty fucking life. It's something I'm pretty mad about because I absolutely hate people saying, oh, I'm going to do this, and then they never do it. And then I'm going to do this, and they fucking never do it. Just do it. Don't say anything to anyone. Don't hype it up for your friends or stuff like that. Do it. Just do it. It doesn't require much work. You have the free course right now. Go and watch through every single video of that free course. It's a lot of great things. And I should be charging $500 for that course. And it's probably something I'm going to do fairly soon, because I see people watching the first video and the second video and the third video, and then they're like, okay, this is too much work. This is too much work for me. I don't want to do this. Or they're saying, oh, I got to buy a website. Fuck this. I'm not going to spend any money. I want the free course. Teach me the free shit. And I'm like, you need an autoresponder. You need a website. These are the only things you need to start an online business. But they're like, fuck that shit, man. So I'm going to charge for that program because I really want to see people taking action. And this comes back to, if you're spending $2,000 on a product, you're definitely going to do something. You're definitely going to take some action. But yeah, so it's free right now. I'm going to charge for it or make a new course and delete my free course because it doesn't work for anyone. And do just 3 videos explaining all there is to know, maybe longer videos that explains it, because no one wants to watch 16 videos if they haven't spent money. No one is going to do that on their own and really apply it. So the last one, we have come to a has no other choice but to be an entrepreneur. At this point, it's better to conclude what I've talked about. So has no other chance but choice to be an entrepreneur. I can't have a boss. I'm not too educated to get the job that I want. I can't keep a job. I have nothing to lose to be an entrepreneur. And I want freedom. That's the biggest ones that are in my book. I have no other choice but to be an entrepreneur, and it's what I want to do. It's what I want to do, and it's what I want to do with my life. And what I want to make you get out of this is you need a catalyst. You need something to push you over the edge to make that online business if you're completely new. Also, I think it's immensely powerful for you to find which of these that you are and that you have to push you over the edge, and find your whys, find your negative motivation and your positive motivation. because that's going to drive you a lot longer than to just say, okay, I want a Lambo, I want the car, I want the girls, but that's not really enough. At least for me, it's not enough, but for some people it might be enough. But I want a fulfilling life that I have freedom and stuff like that. But we've been talking a lot today, and if you're watching to the end, I truly appreciate you being here, listening to me rambling on about a lot of things. And for anything, just go down in the comments and say, hey, Andy, I listened all the way through, and comment just that. But also, if you have your own ideas and if you have your own mindset on things, I would really appreciate you writing your own things down in the comments as well, so I can read and learn from you guys. So that's going to be the video. Check out the free course if you want to take action. Thank you so much for watching. I love you, and I'll see you in the next video.